You know, on the Republican side, Mr. Trump was asked about it and said something like, you know, things like that happen in the world. And Governor Bush said, yeah, stuff happens. No. That's an admission of defeat and surrender to a problem that is killing 33,000 Americans. It's time for us to say, wait a minute, we're better than this. When the NRA was on one of their, tirades and calling the alcohol, tobacco, and firearms enforcers, jackbooted thugs, President George H.W. Bush resigned as an NRA member and said, no, I'm not going to be associated with that. So, I mean, ideally, what I would love to see is gun owners, responsible gun owners, hunters, form a different organization and take back the Second Amendment from these extremists.
So gun control is always, Mike, a loser, it seems, for Democrats. But with what Hillary Clinton outlined yesterday, you look at the numbers, it's actually if you're just looking at the poll numbers, winner. Universal background checks, supported by about 9 out of 10 Americans, 8 out of 10 Republicans, according to, I think, the latest Pew poll. 8 out of 10 Americans support that. Closing the gun show loophole, supported by, I think, 7 out of 10 Americans, maybe 6, maybe 7. It's the vast majority. Now, you start talking about handguns and you start talking about going beyond that, and then the support drops. But what Hillary was talking about yesterday, she's going to get a lot of people in the general election, at least, supporting her.
Those two elements that you just mentioned are incredibly popular across this country, but among people who have common sense about guns. You're not going to take guns away from people. Nobody's talking about that. There's one other opening that she alluded to there. She didn't reference it specifically, and it will require courage, commitment, and a constant hammering on it to get it done. The woman, the mother of the shooter, Christopher Harper, Mercer. There's a piece in the Times today, there's stories in the papers yesterday. Among the 14 weapons that family had were an AK-47 and an AR-15. You were talking about Afghanistan and Iraq. That's what those weapons were designed for. AR-15, AK-47. They are military assault rifles. There's no good reason why legitimate hunters or legitimate gun owners would have AR-15s and AK-47s in their arsenal. They ought to be banned from civilian use. And it would take courage on the part of politicians to keep hammering it. I just have a sense that among legitimate hunters, it's a winner.
Yeah.